Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, this is going to be my Neptune retrograde video on how the invisible enemy is becoming visible. We have some incredible planetary energies happening, star alignments in our skies that are positively influencing the darkness coming to the light, okay, and really helping to expose everything that's kind of been happening on this planet. We have incredible star alignments this year. 2020, the year of perfect vision, has a lot of help behind it to make sure that that vision is very clear and not cloudy. So let's get into why we're now having Neptune going retrograde on the 23rd. And Neptune is the planet of fantasy and illusion. I'm going to get into first how this is going to affect you personally, and then I'm going to go into the global effects of how this is going to play out on the world stage for us, okay? So individually, what Neptune happens to do when it goes retrograde, as it being the planet of fantasy and illusion, when it retrogrades, what it does is it starts to destroy all of the illusions that we have perhaps bought into that allow us to avoid our truth. Okay, so depending on where Neptune is in your chart, it's in Pisces, so I don't know what Pisces is for you in your house, but it could be illusions in love, in your relationships. It could be illusions with your finances. It could be illusions with your career. It could be illusions with your friendships, your home life, whatever it is, okay, in whatever house it is, it's going to be affecting you individually much more in that way. But generally, on a whole, what Neptune retrograde is going to be doing is going to be destroying those fantasies. And when those fantasies and illusions are destroyed, it creates a harsh reality that we cannot avoid. And depending on how much you've avoided these truths within you, okay, and you've bought into the illusion, ooh, you're in for a really rude awakening, okay? So if you haven't been that avoidance, you're kind of aware, you know, but maybe you haven't totally gone out of the illusion, you're not going to feel it so much. You're going to get some realizations, things are going to be stripped away from you. But if you've really been avoiding it, you're in for a really rough ride. Now, Neptune retrograde is going to happen until December 1st, okay? So this happens for about 5 months. So every year Neptune goes retrograde. This isn't something that is really rare. It goes retrograde every year for about 5 months. So, or just under 5 months, maybe 4.5 months. And so what we're going to be experiencing here, though, is a lot of truth coming to light. Okay, things that we've been running from, no longer you can run from. And Neptune tends to rule, it rules victimization, it rules self-sacrifice, it rules scandal, it rules slander, false accusations. So if you've been falsely accused, if you've been slandered in some sort of way, if you know, here's the thing, on a personal level, we're often our own worst enemy, okay? So the invisible enemy often in our own lives is ourself. It's the self-deception is the invisible enemy. And so that becomes awakened through the higher self. When Neptune retrogrades, higher self gets to come in and take over the helm of the ship, so to speak. You won't need necessarily a massive crisis event outside of you to trigger this, although that could happen if you've really been avoiding it. But what typically happens is it's almost like a portal opens for the higher self to be more integrated within you so that these self-realizations are had, okay? Now, let's kind of go into the world stage and what does this mean for us globally, okay? Obviously, there is so much deception happening right now in the media. There is so much deception happening from corporations, political figures, the banking system. There's so much corruption there. One of the things I do want to talk about in regards to this Neptune retrograde, now, there aren't severe planetary influences outside of it. It's a pretty bland Neptune retrograde in that respect. However, I do want to say that Saturn is retrograding in July again back into Capricorn and will be there until December 17th, okay? And it's its final phase before it goes right back into Aquarius, where we just got a brief stint of it for the first half of the year. where it finally entered Aquarius, which with Saturn in Aquarius, it's the lessons of the higher self finally coming in. It's the authority of the higher self taking over versus looking at authority outside of you. And that is definitely something that we really need right now. However, it's leaving Aquarius now, going back into Capricorn where it is. Now, what is Capricorn known for? It's known for the authority figure of the zodiac, okay? It's known as like government, parental figures, any like religious leaders, anything that is considered to have high authority around us, that's what it represents. And with Saturn kind of retrograding back into Capricorn, what I'm seeing in relation to this Neptune retrograde kind of assisting it is, remember, this is the year of Jupiter in retrograde, Jupiter in Capricorn, which means Jupiter is expanding and helping and positively influencing the fall and destruction of old authority systems that no longer serve us, that do not serve the greater good, okay? And so with Saturn coming back in to kind of give us hard lessons and retrograde to break down, okay, break down that stuff, really make us see things for what they are, with that Neptune in retrograde also, is that I believe that we now have a double whammy coming in against the dark agenda to really expose that. So as we're all kind of exposing our own self-deception, we're going to see the deception of these authority type leaders that have been deceiving the people under the premise that they are serving you for the greatest good, but really they're just lining their own pockets. They're trying to grab more power, and they care nothing about you or me or anyone else in the commoners, so to speak. So those that have abused their power of authority, and those of us who have given up our own authority power to these corrupt authority figures, are really going to experience a collapse of that system within in order for us to see what's happening. So I do believe that this energy is going to help influence the exposure of the corrupt systems and corrupt authority figures, which we need desperately right now, especially coming up to the election. Let's face it, China right now was geared up to be the next world leader, and it was their turn, and they're not getting it. Thank goodness, because this world does not need to be turned into a communist one world order. And if you can take over the states, then you can take over every other country. So this is the big one. Everything is hinging on the states and this next election, which I really do believe everything's going to work out for the highest good. And so we're having this Neptune retrograde assist us all in exposing where the victimization, okay? The victimization is something that has gained a momentum in the minds of those who are literally buying into the media propaganda, that somehow victimization is a good thing. The more victimized you are, the more abundant you are inside. I talked about this on my last video with the Kate Awakening, and she talked about how, we've turned victimhood into a currency. Yeah, that's going to be exposed because that currency has no value whatsoever. And so we're going to start to see that. We're also going to see how all of the false accusations being made against those who are actually serving the greater good of the people are going to be exposed as false accusations. So there's a lot coming up with this Neptune retrograde to really help make the invisible enemy visible. Okay, it's destroying the illusion. It's breaking down all of the false narratives. It's allowing the veil to be completely lifted so that self-realization is the only option. And perhaps in this case, also world realization. So really important time. It's going to be happening up until December 1st. And again, that Saturn retrograde is going to, I believe, be assisting it in some way, only because it's going to be in Capricorn, and Jupiter is heavily influencing this year of Capricorn in basically exposing and destroying the old systems of authority that no longer serve us. So there's a lot happening in the sky right now to bring all of this to awareness. Okay, guys, that's my video for you. I hope it was really helpful. If you need any more information about me, please head on over to my website, inflexibleme.com. My newsletter is there that you can sign up to on the front page. I also have my podcast, Enlighten Up, that comes out every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. And an hour after that, after it's aired, then it goes live into iTunes and Spotify, okay? And if you want to join my alchemy program, I'd love to have you in there. You can get group coaching. You can get more information on all these planetary alignments that I go over with the group once a month on our live call, and there are guided meditations in there, and timeless readings that help tap into just the group's energy. Guys, I love you so much. Have a wonderful week. And oh, yay, Venus is finally going direct on Thursday on the 25th. So finally some reprieve from all that heavy energy. I think relationships will finally be able to breathe a sigh of relief. You know, just some nice energy. When Venus finally gets into Cancer in August 7th, I think we're going to really see some things amp up, okay? And I'll probably be getting into that on my next call with you guys in alchemy. So love you so much. Stay in your truth, guys. Keep your voice vocal. Keep taking action from a place of truth within you so that we can help destroy these illusions within us, you know, and help destroy the illusions outside of us. I love you so much. We'll be back with you soon.